Give it a couple of seconds. It'll probably pop on the screen here, the YouTube video screen here,
Right.
or the YouTube Studio tab, I guess so we often call it there. All right. All right, so what's going on? It's a Monday, late afternoon. It's Arknolia and the Doctor, our sixth episode of our recap and preview of what we got coming in this week, and look at what's going on the last week there. With
Right.
yeah, now earlier on we were supposed to do a stint with JB from JB Sports Radio. Um, I messaged him earlier on or before we went live, and I wanted to see if it was okay, if he was all right there, because he had to leave abruptly while me and a couple others were on his post show. They were talking politics, sports teams, and everything such. And he said he had to go, which is understandable. Probably something came up with his family, so who are we to say that, no, you can't go? We're not going to do that crap there.
No.
So, because, he has a family, he has a wife, he has a couple kids, and plus he has his job and his schedule and everything. So, sometime probably possibly Wednesday or Friday, early in the afternoon, we'll probably get to doing his show, JB's Cafe, on his Patreon there. He invited me, to be a part of it, and kind of scheduling got screwed up there, here and there. So, we'll have to wait and see how it goes there. I guess we both, he wanted us both there because asked about the show and asked about music and a lot of other things as well.
Right.
Yeah. With some, because he was on our second episode of the Beatles there, popping in, playing all that stuff from the White Album in the background there. Kind
Yeah.
of surprisingly. And we had the conversation prior to that show going on. So once again, if he is able to get back with me on the Skype call, definitely he's welcome to join in on this show here anytime, dude.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, we had
And
well,
like
go
and
ahead.
like we said before, anybody that has contributions is welcome. But we just don't want somebody to come on here and ramble
Bullshit.
about stuff that doesn't matter.
All right, like right now at this point, it's best to avoid the politics. Save that for another time, energy, or save that for another space there because it's now becoming quicksand when you think about it.
Yeah.
Once you get into that, it's hard to get out of it. You have to keep on it, otherwise people will be disappointed because they're going to be expecting that from you almost all the time there.
True. True.
Yeah, and it's just
Okay.
yeah, right. So now, last month, no, since I don't know if Mondays count, but I know that this coming Tuesday we're going to be diving into the other British invasion, but possibly the Kings, Hermits, the Yardbirds, and of course we got to include the Rolling Stones as well in this
In
mixer.
the Who.
And the Who, correct, yeah. Because the Beatles were one of the big bands that inspired other British acts. If they can make it in America, so can we. And some of them did. You know,
Yeah, we just have to figure out how we want to do that. Whether we want to do an hour dedicated to one band or somehow figure out how to do it so we don't forget anybody.
well,
I'm kind of a mind that we maybe pick a few of those and do one on them. Stones would be a good example,
I'm
possibly the Kinks.
yeah, I'm thinking possibly on tomorrow night we could probably cover bands like the Kinks, Hermits, the Yardbirds, on the influences that they have, and possibly Thursday we could look at the Rolling Stones. Because they're still together after all these years.
Yeah, well, not totally. I mean, a couple of member changes, but nothing
Yeah,
major. Well,
yeah,
I
but
say nothing major.
that's true.
Two
Well,
big ones.
that's true. They're still well. Right now, it's the four piece, as we all know. It's Jagger, Richards, Wood, and Watts. There, their original bassist Bill Wyman retired many years ago,
And they
and
went through a few rhythm guitarists.
yeah, that's true. You had Brian Jones, Mick Taylor, and current one Ron Woods just as well. So right now, the Stones, as we know, since the '94, since Voodoo Lounge has been a quartet there. We definitely got to talk about that.
Yeah, and if we start Tuesday with British invasion and pretty much try to go over everybody,
Yeah,
we won't be able to do that in one episode. That's going to
that's
take
true.
several.
Yeah, because we got a lot of British bands out there and who definitely need to be mentioned here a lot of times there.
Not only the big ones, some minor ones that had an impact of sorts.
Yeah. Usually about
So,
well, because I know Hermits with Peter Noon there. They did a couple of well known for a couple of songs up there. And I think like Mrs. Brown, they got a lovely daughter. There was a band, The Small Faces,
yeah,
which
and like I said, we there's a lot of bands. I mean, you got a few one-hit wonders. You got a few that were big in Britain, didn't do much over here, but were
yeah,
still big bands.
yeah,
So there's a there's a lot of material. It's going to take more than one
yeah,
episode.
that's true. Yeah. So tomorrow night will be excuse me there. We'll be taking a look at some of those bands out there, with some of the ones that we have mentioned, and we'll also be taking a look at the Stones on actually I'm thinking possibly divide the Stones onto Thursday and the Who on the following Tuesday there. That's what I'm thinking because the Who is still pretty much together, even though it's just Daltrey and Townsend currently at this moment.
Yeah, because the other two are gone.
I know. Went Whistle and Moon. And you got to give those guys a lot of credit. The Who are considered basically what probably one of the first punk rock bands out there when you look at it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I mean, you got to remember Pete Townsend struck Abby Hoffman with his guitar during their Woodstock performance. I guess Hoffman wanted to make some sort of political speech, and Townsend just whacked him on the side of the head with his guitar there.
yeah.
And he wasn't too, I understand, wasn't too fond about the doing that Woodstock gig as well. They were like too tired, they were like too upset over, and even though how much money was presented to them, they were still balking. So but they did take the stage at about 3 a.m. I guess in New York time, and did their set, and that's when the situation with Abby Hoffman took place just as well. And I remember reading this in an interview that he felt like spitting on a lot of those people out there because just the idea of living in mud and living in dirt, it just was to him.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess Wednesday, what did we plan on doing the TV thing?
Yes, we were TB memories there. There was a few programs I have in mind there. I was wondering if you have anything you want to touch up on.
Well, the Twilight Zone would be interesting.
Yeah, we can definitely look into that, and Ron Sterling, that is other programs like Night
Uh,
Gallery as well.
right.
And
Although
plus,
Twilight Zone alone could cover an hour easy.
yeah, definitely. Because, all the influence that program has had on pop culture with the many reissues, the movies that came out in
Right,
1982, and the controversy that went on behind the making of that movie, just as well. I think we know what we're talking about here.
right.
Yeah. So definitely, this coming Wednesday night, we will touch up on the Twilight Zone, the series, and the aftermaths that came afterwards for a while.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. And then Thursday, it's kind of up in the air, but it will do the Rolling Stones. But I have a feeling that when we start talking British invasion,
Mhm.
there's no way we can cover everything that happened in an hour. But
That's
we'll
true.
try.
But we
We'll
could
try.
probably we could take cover. Let's say I say about we could cover the Stones in one episode, and then the Who in the next episode. There, I'm thinking possibly you could do that, and then on another episode we could take a look at the lesser known British bands that were known here in the states.
The bigger ones.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll save the Kinks and Herman's Hermits and the Hollies and those kind of bands for that episode.
tomorrow.
And well, either tomorrow, because one of the times we're going to do British Invasion, the groups that were relatively minor but still had an impact. I'm
Oh,
thinking Peter and Gordon, Chad and Jeremy.
yeah,
Uh,
those groups as well. Yeah, those projects.
Freddie and the Dreamers. I mean,
Jerry and the Pacemakers. Remember the song?
absolutely.
Absolutely. Ferry Across the Mersey. Still one of their one-time well-known hits there.
Yeah, and what it
Hmm?
my brain quit working.
Oh, okay.
Uh, and the Searchers.
That's right.
I mean, like I said, I can sit here and list out all kinds of bands. I mean, I lived the era, so I have no problem listing out the bands. It's something I can do.
All right. Let's go. So definitely tomorrow night we'll continue our British Invasion series. Look at the other bands that have came to America after the Beatles' conquest there. And as I mentioned, a couple of those are still among us today. The Who and the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the others are gone, but not totally. I mean,
Well,
they
some
still
of
have
them
their.
do get back together, but it's usually one or two original members with a couple of guys, filling in the other spots there.
Yeah, and that to me is kind of,
Lame.
I don't. Yeah,
Those are called tribute acts when you
for the
look at
most
it.
part.
Yeah,
For the most part, that's kind of how I see them. But like I say, when we get into the British invasion, I can spend a lot of time on that without even hitting the major groups.
that's true. Yeah, because there's a lot. Like as we mentioned, there's a lot of cover there. Speaking of which, I think I mentioned this one story before when it comes to. Let's take a time to look at some bands with the original members. We see this happen a few times. We see them on these, retro tours, one act from the past, this act from the past, performing. We've seen that many times before. And mostly during the summertime, whether it's John Kay and his version of Steppenwolf, or Flo and Eddie and their version of the Turtles. And we have seen that many times. Or it's or Peter Noon's version of Hermits, or possibly Paul Mark Lindsay and his version of Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Although actually, I saw Paul Revere and the Raiders one visit I had to Las Vegas just
Mm,
before Paul died,
wow,
and actually Paul
Mark,
Revere
the guy
had a bunch of guys. Well,
is.
yeah, the organ player
Oh
had
yeah,
a bunch of other guys that were in the band that weren't none of the originals,
yeah.
but they were pretty decent. I mean, they were close.
Now, not too long ago, the Zombies, another '60s band from England featuring Rod Argent, um, they played a place called the Dozy Do. That's located on the heading south on the I-45 feeder road there. And I didn't go because I wasn't that much in this. I only know two songs from the Zombies. Actually three. Tell Her No, She's Not There, and Time of the Season, which came years after during
Yeah,
the
and there are others. I mean,
yeah,
I know a little bit more about the Zombies.
yeah, that's true.
Uh, that was that one ad I was telling you about.
Hmm.
I forget the name of the product, but they played a little bit from a song called Carousel 44.
Uh huh.
That was I think it's Belvita or something like that.
Velveeta.
It's a no Belvita. I think it's a biscuit or something.
Oh, okay.
It's
Because
a morning
I thought it was
biscuit.
such a Velveeta cheese at first that you were going
Oh
to
no,
tell me. No.
no. But if you listen to the song, it uses that line about "Good morning to you. I hope you're feeling better."
Oh yeah.
But the interesting thing is, if you listen to the song is about him welcoming back his girlfriend who'd been in prison.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like that's interesting they would use that, but they use it for the "Good morning to you. I hope you're feeling better" bit.
Yeah, and most
Forget
likely
it.
it's that one little bit that they
Yeah,
usually go for. Let me give you
actually, it's a pretty good song.
yeah,
If you get a chance to look it up and play it. It's a good song.
yeah. Also, by the way, this I gotta bring this song up here. Now we know who Chris Brown is, right? The R&B singer that was
Yeah.
involved. Yes, he had a song called "Forever," and one of the lines in the chorus was "Double your pleasure, double your fun, and dance forever." Now, the "double your pleasure" and "double your fun" was basically previously used in
Double
a
mint
few
gum.
double mint gum. Yes, and wouldn't you know? the boys at Double McGun decided to hire Chris Brown to promote their product, and while that song is playing in that particular section of the song there. And here he is, playing around with this pack of Double McGum here.
That
It's so,
figures.
yep, mm-hmm. I guess he got a lot of paid. I don't know how much he got paid for that, but it kind of makes sense, when something, some, it's hard to explain, but at the same time, how some songs could get used for sell a certain product, Another
Yeah.
example would have to be Search and Destroy by Iggy Pop and the Stooges. Because of the tagline, Search and Destroy. That title alone, it kind of like sums up the idea of going out to being in a sports team and conquering against over the opponent and stuff like that. We're here to win. What are we going to do, boys? What? We're here to search and destroy. We're going to destroy the opponents. To get everybody riled up. And that's
Yeah.
what I guess the purpose of that song was later made into a Nike commercial. And Iggy Pop didn't really have no problem with it because that song was not a big commercial impact. So he figured what the fuck, it could be used now as one. Let's make sure that song makes money now. Now that it's being used for something else, like a Nike commercial. Now I'm wondering about this. I got to throw this. This just came to my mind as I said that. On their album Raw Power, they have a song titled "Your Pretty Face Is Going to Hell," and I guess what it was is that song was basically a direct hit, a shot at this one woman who Iggy was involved with at that time, who really was described as trouble with a capital T. I'm wondering if the what's that name of that acne product? What's the name of that product that prevents pimples and acne on kids' faces? There, what was it? I remember years ago.
Oh man.
I
I
used to hear the commercials all the time back when I was in my early teens. There, all
well, I had a couple of more commercials pointed out to me by Three Ponies in the chat.
nice.
Uh, One of them was using "Go Your Own Way" for suppositories.
I know.
I
Oh my
yeah, what?
God.
That's just really bizarre.
Oh my God, that is a trip and a half because that song is basically Lindsey Buckingham telling Stevie Nicks bye, to put forth there.
Yeah, and then he also mentioned "Oh Ho Ho" Ozempic, which we talked about before, the
Yeah,
old pilot song "Magic."
yeah. Oh my God, that was even more cheesier than ever because God knows, shit, that. And of course, we mentioned the big ones, in the air tonight. We already discussed the topic that's going on here. Wait a
Oh
minute.
yeah.
Wait a minute. Are we live? Go check my channel to see if I'm live, okay? Because I'm turning on my channel as it doesn't say that I'm live right now. I don't know if it's me or whatever or what. It says we're live
I
here.
don't see it.
What the hell is going on here? I added the stream key.
What does your OBS say?
It says I'm streaming and I'm recording as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know how it works with both because all I do is stream and let it just automatically set up.
Oh, because I had this stream ready to go for a while now. Let me try this again. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Oh, son of a bitch. I hope I don't have to start over here.
Yeah, because I don't know if I can remember anything. Worst comes to worst, although I don't have video and I need to do that someday.
Oh, son of a
Uh,
bitch.
I just have a black screen up.
Huh. Try this again one more time. If there's something don't go right, well, definitely upload it. And it says, you know what? Screw it. I don't know. I don't understand what the hell's going on here. I don't know why it's not saying that.
I don't know. The only problem is we're going to lose your chat and people that are normally there.
I know. Let me stop the show for a second and we'll come back on, okay?
Okay, well, I'm not going to change mine.
Okay, let me
I'll just let it run. We can kind of talk better.
Okay, okay, let's see what we got this time. I'm streaming once again now.
Okay, let me go ahead and check and see if you're there. Although it takes mine a while to set up. I mean, your channel.
Okay.
And I don't
Alright.
see it yet.
Alright,
But that's
search.
okay.
But,
But again, last week on our Tuesday and Thursday time, we covered the Beatles part one and two, which
yeah,
was basically their early career and their later career.
yeah.
Best way to put it. And then Wednesday, we talked about Vice,
Yeah.
which actually
You
you
okay
got
there?
quite a few hits, and so did I. I don't know why.
On your microphone there?
Yeah, are you not hearing me?
I hear you loud and clear, dude. I also hear the bum 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 here on you there.
I don't know what that is
I don't
because I
know
have
either.
nothing going.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just basically just me.
Alright.
Okay, but Wednesday we covered the Miami Vice phone, and both of us got a lot of hits on that one.
That's good to hear, yeah. Because we touched on something that people remember, and a lot of people have other programs did try to copy.
Right, and then Friday we were going to do Ray Heyerhausen,
Yeah.
and we'll do it, but we'll do it this Friday.
Okay.
We
Yes,
just
I
had,
remember
we
there
just
was.
had
I remember
we
because
just
there was issue with the let's see, there was an issue. Yeah, you said something came up there as well.
okay.
So most likely I have to compile all three tidbits here together.
Okay, well, I mean, whatever you have to do, you have to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now I'm looking to see. Okay, it seems to be. Now it says we're live once again, folks.
and he will add in the other parts a little later.
Okay. Yes. Now earlier on we were back live, and as you know we're back live. And earlier on we were talking about commercials and what we got planned for this week. We're also actually songs being that we grew up listening to being used in commercials. All right, there we go. Now I'm officially live there. I don't know what the fuck happened there.
Well, I know that I
Sorry.
think it was Nike used Revolution, and he will add in the other parts.
Okay.
And that got
Okay. Yes.
stopped by the Beatles, or Paul
Yeah.
McCartney, obviously.
Yes, it was. Yes, Paul McCartney, Harrison, and Starr. Yeah, we all know that story. Now, since we're finally live on the show here, me and Arknolia had a little bit of trouble. I thought I was live on my end when I found out I really wasn't. So, anybody watching out there, let me know if you was able to catch the first half hour of this show by accident because it didn't indicate it when I checked my channel here on the computer there. So what it looked like is that I don't know what the heck was so up with that. I had the stream key ready to go here and there way before we went live here. So I don't know what the heck was going on.
Oh boy, where'd you get that picture?
Oh, that one? Oh, that's Jenna Hayes. She's a former adult actress there.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to put on pretty gals on my as my thumbnail now and then.
Yeah, kind of makes for clickbait.
Yep, I was gonna say the exact same thing. um, yeah. So once again, we're starting over now. Or cover again. We're going to be taking a look at the rest of the British invasion. We're going to be talking about bands like Hermits, the Zombies, Chad and Jeremy, Peter and Gordon, the Who, the Rolling Stones, which we'll probably have to put on separate episodes as well because those two groups are still together, as we all know.
There's a lot to talk about both of those groups.
Yes, a lot to talk about. And plus, there's just a moment before we went live officially. We were talking about the various songs from the past that have been used in various commercials of today. We're talking about that old Septic not too long ago, based on the song Magic by that group. What's that group's name again? Pilot, I think it
Pilot,
was?
pilot.
Pilot, yeah, correct. And we also talking about how Revolution by the Beatles was used as a Nike commercial around 87. And plus, well, of course, then again, the Beatles at that time were running big because of the official CD releases of their UK albums. And I guess Nike
Right.
figured, let's jump on the Beatles bandwagon.
which I don't know what revolution has to do with running shoes, but
I don't know to
you know
them,
what?
but you know how sports manufacturers are. You know, like sports is about revolutionizing sports. You know, revolutionizing the players.
Yeah,
You know, Michael Jordan is considered a revolutionizer of the basketball games. You know,
right.
but then again, and like Pete Rose was the revolutionizer of baseball. You know, we need a rebel. This is a new revolution, and all in all, the content of the song originally was, as we mentioned, John Lennon calling out the anti-war for using warlike antics to stop the war overseas.
Yeah, that
Why put yourself in that position? Why stoop to those lows?
yeah. He was basically, if you wanted to make change, make it through the normal channels. Don't do a revolution. That was essentially what.
Don't do a violent revolution. That's basically what he is saying right there.
Yeah, but that's well. We'll start the British invasion on Tuesday
Yep.
and kind of see how it goes. And if we got a lot more to cover, we'll continue it Thursday.
Yes.
But if not, we'll go to the Stones
Okay
and
then.
talk about them a little bit. Uh,
Absolutely. Good idea there.
and on Wednesday, we'll talk about the Twilight Zone and its impact and what it did and accomplished. And I'm not going to do an episode by episode thing like we did for Star Trek,
No,
but
we could also talk about the guest appearances who starred in various episodes of that program,
oh
including
yeah,
William
there were some big
Shatner.
ones.
Carol Burnett was in one episode. It was kind of like a comical when you look at it there.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. That's
Yeah,
right.
so do I. Yes.
And there were a lot of decent big guest stars on that show.
Mhm.
So and before they became bigger, but there were a lot of decent guest stars.
Yeah.
And Thursday again, we'll figure out how Tuesday goes and go from there.
Yes.
And then on Friday, we're going to finally get to Ray Harryhausen and talk
Yeah.
about the monster flicks that he was the technician for and the monsters he created because he was possibly one of the best at making creatures lifelike before we got to CGI and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Dyna-
From the technician,
Dynamation. That's what his technique was often christened as.
yeah, it was kind of like he would create a model and then stop action it and make
Moved,
it look
moved.
real. I mean,
Yep. Move the. I guess it was called move the arms a little bit, and then take a shot, then move the arms upwards and take a shot. I guess if that's what
yeah,
it's
some does.
called.
Yeah, it kind of worked like early animation, where they draw a frame and then draw a frame where there's a little bit of movement, draw a frame where there's a little bit of movement, and then kind of flip it and turn it, and it looked like it was lifelike.
I see.
He did
Yeah.
the same thing with live action, essentially.
Now he also worked it on the original Clash of the Titans from '82, if I'm correct, on some of the
Oh
monsters
yeah,
there. Ah, I
yeah.
see. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
And he did Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, and
Yeah,
I think it was the Golden Voyage. We'll talk about that stuff.
definitely we got to look into this stuff because God knows there was so many. Because at that time he was like a pioneer of the special effects realm alongside Rick Baker.
Yeah,
You know, and this is way before all these computer graphics, all this CGI stuff. You know, this guy, Harryhausen, he was the CGI of yesteryear to put forth.
without CGI. Yeah,
Correct, yes. Whereas computer graphics, you could just go to a computer, to add everything onto a film and bing, bam, boom. It looks so realistic there. I know they did that with a lot of some of the Star Wars there, including Revenge of the Sith, the recent Episode 9, and a couple others as well.
yeah. I'd like to see how some of those would have been shot they had to deal with technology back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, it's true.
That it wouldn't have had the same impact because if you look at the sci-fi movies
Mhm.
from the 50s and 60s, some of them are laughable,
Yeah,
but they're fun to watch. I mean, I'm a big fan of those movies actually.
correct.
We had discussed Plan 9. There's a good example right there of one with bad effects.
That's true,
And
yeah.
And there are others. I mean, they're not the only ones.
Yeah. Plus, you got to well, you also got to plus you got to remember the budget that the filmmakers had at that time, to afford such effects. Now, I understand for the Force Awakens Episode 7, Star Wars, J.J. Abrams decided to go back to some of the original plan, actually have these creatures, other aliens made by hand, and applied it to a movie. Whereas the first three episodes had a animated Yoda.
Yeah,
So I guess it was I guess you could say it's a combination of both CGI and the handmade effects, for that matter. There for that particular one. Now I don't know if they did the same for the two that followed afterwards. I wasn't too. I didn't really catch up on that one there, but most of all, probably because we're all more focused on the SJW intent of episode 8. And that we were
right,
hoping that episode 9 would be a lot more, 20 times better than episode 8.
right. Yeah, because episode 8, in my eyes, they lost their way.
Yeah, especially with Luke. I mean,
Yeah,
I know it's a
it's
tired subject, the Skywalker saga is done, but and now because there's a lot of discussion within the Disney camp, trying to make Star Wars, as big as the Marvel Comics universe and such.
right.
But you got to remember that, I guess what it is that I think the biggest mistake was George Lucas hiring Kathleen Kennedy to be the new, I guess, leader of Lucasfilms, for what I understand.
Right.
And me and my boy Junebug, we had a long discussion about that particular situation. He was not too happy of the way it was been turning out. The idea of Luke Skywalker being so reluctant to be a Jedi again, saying things like "it is time for the Jedi to end." This really made no sense. To be reluctant, to be upset, but it just really didn't make no sense, to be gone that long of a time while the First Order is running amok around the galaxy.
Well, hang on. Let me get rid of something here.
Okay, let me get. I hear it there.
There. Got
There
it.
we go. One of those.
Eh, well, to me, Star Wars in a nutshell. The first three episodes filmed, which were the second three,
Yep.
were classic. I mean, they were,
The original.
yeah, the original three.
Yeah.
The second three were good for what they were because they did give us a prequel to how everything came the way it was, and
Yes.
it made sense. I was fine with that. But then when we got to 7, 8, and 9, I watched 7 and I was kind of like, what are they doing?
Hmm.
And then 8, to be honest, I hadn't even watched yet, but I heard so much negativity about it that
Yeah.
it's hard for me to even pick up. Then I heard 9 tried to rectify it,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it succeeded or not because I hadn't seen that one either.
Well, I've seen it in the theater, not nearby, and it is a pretty good movie. Like say a lot of time put forth everyone, including Ray, Finn, and Poe. They were working together, as a unit.
Right,
And it kind of, the big surprise, as was the return of Emperor Palpatine, trying to resurrect the Sith through the First Order. And of course, was the resurrection of Ben Solo kicking Kylo Ren to the curb there after meeting his spirit of his father there one on one there. It's kind of interesting to see this watery planet, see all the wreckage from the second Death Star. Just looking in those, going into that, it's like, wow, I can imagine. But you know what?
well,
Really,
that one I got to see, and I don't know if I want to see the eighth one or not. I probably will, but I'm kind of reluctant to because I know that it's
because of
uh,
all that you heard about it there.
basically I've never heard a positive review of that particular one.
I know, yeah. A lot of people were really upset about it. And I guess a lot of that blame was directed towards Kathleen Kennedy, who, by the way, as I mentioned in Junebug, said in an interview she does not owe the male fans of Star Wars an apology. I mean, like you should. I mean, a lot of the fan percentage is made up of men.
Yeah. Well, some people have agendas and they got to fulfill them, even if it means
Yeah.
ticking everybody off.
And this is one thing that really makes me mad. Now, so much PC crap has been leveled on towards everything from comic books to entertainment to music to movies. Like back then, if Bruce Jenner were to come out in an interview and say he was actually a woman, he was going to transit to a woman, he would have been the most hated man on the block.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if the person's man says he's actually a woman and wishes to do the exact same, he is praised. And anybody who talks against it, say, no, you're a man, you're supposed to be a man, let it, stop doing that. They're condemned all to hell.
Yeah. I mean, it's a strange world we live in, but,
And I think what it is that, a lot of the people around here today grew up in, you remember how liberal the 1990s was, right?
right.
Yeah, a lot of the younger kids around who are 4 or 5 years old, watching Animaniacs, watching the Batman animated series. They grew up with all this PC stuff as child, and they learned that throughout their adulthood. They carry throughout their whole entire lives. This is the genre. These are the politics that we grew up learning. You're supposed to you're supposed to be accepting of gay people. You're supposed to be accepting of trans people and LGBTQs out there. So,
Right.
they look at. I think what it is that the people who were pushed aside throughout the 1990s, the Reagan and the first Bush administration, finally got a chance to finally come out and push their viewpoints. Now we got a Democrat president as Bill Clinton. You know, so who cares? I mean, people like Madonna were actually saying, like, who cares if he cheated on his wife? It's better we know now, other than the lies that Bush 41 told us, back then. And this was their time to finally shine. This was their time to finally how get involved with the spotlight. We don't need to, start fights to be a man. A man should be more sensitive, this and that. And the thing is, along with the questionable antics of Bush 43, who got in the White House, without being inaugurated. When you look at
Right.
it the first time, and plus, with the second Gulf War, being provoked after 9/11, I mean, when you think about it, we were originally supposed to go after Osama bin Laden. Instead, we went after Saddam Hussein. It was basically finish what his father started. And now you remember also, and also remember this. Remember when Bush 41 said this will not be another Vietnam? Well, he kept his word on that. It only lasted about a couple of months. But the
Right.
second one did become another Vietnam because God knows how many years that lasted. And look how many reports we get on the news of this U.S. base being attacked, or this U.S. soldier dying, that U.S. soldier dying. And that really pissed off a lot of people. And you got to remember, these are people who only know the Bush 41 to 43 as the only Republican presidents that they're out there. I don't think they really know about Gerald Ford or Ronald Reagan or any others before them. But they got the idea that all Republicans
And
are. Go ahead.
those two guys were pretty much close to being Democrats without being Democrats.
Yeah. So there are a lot. So a lot of them are kind of like pissed off at the fact that this Republican president, did this. So I mean, Filthy Mouth Gamer still cites him as a war criminal today. When you, I mean,
Yeah.
the plan should have been, let's stick to finding Osama bin Laden and beating his ass, but instead we went to get Saddam Hussein, remove him from his position as dictator of Iraq, get control of the oil so that way when we purchase oil, it won't cost so damn much. Because in the original 10, if when he evaded Kuwait for the oil, God knows how much he would have raised the cost of purchasing that.
Right.
So, but to the people out there, we're talking millions of people's lives being sent over there and dying or coming back without half of their limbs and shit.
Yeah.
So it's you know, and you got to remember what you learn as a kid is going to stay with you for throughout the rest of your life.
Yeah, pretty much is true with us too. But uh, yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's true. So I think that that's an issue with some of these people out there today. And the problem, but the thing is, if you try to explain them the politics that you and I grew up in as kids, they'll be like, "Your politics is wrong. Your politics." They won't sit back and say like, I didn't realize that." They'll just try to say, "We're wrong and you're right."
Well, it's an old adage that if you don't pay attention to history, you're doomed to repeat it.
And they don't
So,
want, and I guess they don't want to, and I guess people got it in their minds that the history did them wrong. The past did their people wrong. This did us wrong. That's what they're feeling. They feel like they were done wrong for some oddball reason, and I guess they got the idea to take it out on whoever comes into play or comes into view.
hmm that's true.
Yeah, and sadly, that's how it is now.
Well, in your chat, Awandi wants to know who the hottie is in the
Yep,
thumbnail.
and I'm answering it. I'm answering it right now, and there you go. You know, I got a few. There were a couple other another couple other hotties I'm going to use in my thumbnail, which I'll probably use probably later on with if I go live with a Minnesota Vikings fan. I was hoping, I'm hoping possibly we could have a lot more fun. Now I love being with Minnesota. Don't get me wrong, but it's also fun when there's a lot of issues going on between us and whoever this person is, whether it's Joe Blonin or a Bullfrog or YR or whoever it is. You know, and of course,
Yeah.
I kind of miss that kind of when you think about it. I mean, there's a couple of episodes I did on Thursday. There was this one Thursday simulcast I was supposed to do with Minnesota, and we ended up getting YR, Blonin, Scott McKinnon, Joe Cronin, Famov Ken, Marvin Watts. Everybody was on that. It's on my channel right now. The Thursday night simulcast with everybody is titled
Oh
there.
man.
Yeah, because
Well, I
everybody
keep
was.
missing.
Oh man, it's still on my channel. Definitely go to your computer and look on my channel. Just look for the photoshopped thumbnail of John Kerry and Anton LaVey. Photoshopped, and as I mentioned, Photoshop because that way, as you can see, you tell right then it was two photos mixed together.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I guess I need that stuff. It's got its own place in other places, and a lot of times I kind of. Well, yeah, that's one of the reasons I want to leave these pure and stay out of that stuff.
Yeah.
Although every once in a while there'll be something interesting to talk about. I guess I saw where Drew has apparently got his hands on the monetize this belt,
Oh
and
wow. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yeah, apparently, I was
well, I
wondering
think
what.
what's going on is a work, but
Oh.
that's my personal opinion. He's acting like I've got it and you're never going to get it back, and that'll
Oh,
teach
and
you a
we're
lesson.
talking S. Dollar, by the way, who lives in Canada. He's had apparently had the belt since he won it many months back last year, if I remember. Yeah,
Over a year ago.
yeah,
In
absolutely.
fact, I think he said it was in June. But
Yeah,
anyhow, somehow he's got his hands on it. And like I said, I kind of think it's a work between him and Joe to get. But
donations.
well, I don't know. It just feels like a work to me, but I could be wrong.
Who knows?
But
Because I would be very surprised why S. Dollar would not just give the belt back. Otherwise, he's got that much of an ego. Say, ha ha, the belt is mine. I'm the champ now. Blah blah blah. And you guys ain't. Something like that. We don't know.
yeah, but I guess we'll see as time goes on that one.
Yeah. We'll have to see because the way that they're racking up, I don't know how they're doing it right now with this wheel there. Who donates is get puts on the wheel there. I guess it's to get the monetizes belt, if I'm correct.
No, just they get to declare themselves champion for a week, and they
Okay,
don't. As far as I know, they don't get anything
I know that.
except recognition,
Yeah,
which it is what it is.
yeah. I know D Welsh was the big man for a while there.
Yeah,
And I know I know Amanda Carmen, another Michigan native. She was on top of the list for a while there, if I was correct.
I think so. I haven't really kept up with it. I mean, I see it every now and again, but I hadn't really kept up with who was champion or anything of that nature.
You know, I haven't really watched that much myself. I mean, like for me, the prime of that show was when Ken, JB, then called just Justin Bailey, you know, was his real name, Tommy, you know, a couple others, Joe, everybody was on that show, you know, go over this situation with Tommy, that situation here. The best part was the rivalry between Leah and JB. You know, JB was like the king and Leah was the queen, and they would go at it once on almost all the time for points. Like, you're gonna elect this false queen. And Leah would respond by calling JB a usurper. You're not real.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of watch now and again, but it's there's not the same kind of I don't know what to call it, vibe,
Insanity. This
insanity.
insane vibe that they had in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I know they do things every now and again, but
Hmm.
it's not. It's different. I'm not saying it's worse. It's just different. And I've gotten to a point where I don't have a whole lot of time to listen to a whole lot of stuff, but I try,
And plus, you
and
know,
I'm falling behind.
and plus, you know, my and don't get us wrong. We are not knocking Joe. We love Joe.
No,
We love his content, but for we love monetize this. We do tune in a lot of times. But the thing is, you know, we kind of miss that unique, kind of miss the old style that they had before. You know, I
yeah,
realize
it's
some changes have to be made, but then again, you know, that's up to Joe, Ken, and JB to sit down on the stream or on a recording to and just work their shit out. You know, talk about what led up to this, what led up to that. You know, especially Joe and Ken.
yeah. I mean, it's still entertaining. So,
Yeah,
like you said, don't it's not a case of being a knock because it really isn't a knock.
no,
It's still entertaining. It's just different.
yeah. And sometimes people like myself have a hard time with something that's now different.
Well, he comes on so late; it's hard for me to watch live anyway.
That's
A
true.
lot of
Yeah,
times I have to catch it,
after it's broadcasted and that.
and it's a little different doing it that way. I honestly wish there was some way I could see it live.
That's true. Yeah. Well, it's kind of
You kind
because
of get more into the flow of it.
yeah, because I know one time. Well, I know the thing that gets me is that you have to now go on Discord, to be a join in other than Skype.
Yeah, I've never had any issues with it, but apparently other people have.
You know, for me, getting this, when I had Skype on my computer here, which I removed, there was an issue with me trying to go on camera, so I had to use the other option, which was the profile pic that I had originally planned there. So I have to
Yeah.
do it like that. I did that a couple of times with the last few two episodes of Corrupted pre-show.
Well, I know that I don't. I have the camera option, but I don't use it. Basically, it's because I don't want to scare people.
Ah,
It's kind of a bad joke, but hey.
okay. So God knows there, God knows. Now, but you know what? We love you, Joe. You're a good guy. I hope your things are doing pretty well. I know, you know, but at the same time, we kind of missed the old way monetize this was. It was kind of chaotic, and psychotic at that back of the day, and we kind of missed that, you know.
And
And we
on an
and by the way, we also invite Joe to come on the program to address these issues just as well. But right now he is getting ready to watch Monday Night Raw. You know,
right,
God help
and
him.
yeah, poor guy. He's got to watch it because of his
He
show.
does, yeah, because you know he gets paid to do the reviews. He gets paid afterwards, you know. But the problem is, you know, I feel for the guy for having to just watch the atrocity that is currently the WWE. Because right now at this point, you know, AEW is doing a lot better. Did you ever see the some of the clips when the
Well,
AEW was in Corpus Christi, Texas?
no, I really hadn't watched any of that. I hadn't watched wrestling in probably a couple, 3 years at all because it was getting to the point that it was just hard to sit through it.
Mm,
And it was nothing like what I remember growing up with. I mean,
wow,
it totally different.
wow,
It really. Oh, you got Joe in your chat.
really? Is it really
Yeah.
Joe in my chat? I don't see it here.
Yeah, it's Joe.
I don't see it. Hold up there. I all I see right now is a Wandy and my response to his question there.
Well, the Joe one just showed up, but it's there.
Oh, well, I see it right now. Hey, if it's hey Joe, you wanna? I got a few seconds to call in the show because I do that because make sure that it's really them because usually we have for a while these troll accounts showing up as
Well,
J.P. Baker, Joe Cronin show, Corrupted Nation. They had one posing as me when it really wasn't.
I'm pretty sure that's Joe because it had his logo.
Yeah, but sometimes they do the same thing with that. They have done that before. And I think let's see. Someone's calling me right now. It doesn't say. Let me hold up. Let's see. Is it Joe Cronin? Let me see if I
Uh,
could get. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me get you on the call, Joe. You know.
yeah, because I was going to say that. Oh, we got Casey too.
Hey, what's up, Casey? It's Raw. How's it going, dude? You know. Come on. Here we go. Joe Cronin. I guess he wants to talk about. You know. There he is. I'm going to add Joe. Let's see if I can add him to the call here. I know he's going to probably talk about
Well,
what's
he's
going on.
got basically 1 minute before Raw starts.
All right. Well, he could probably, but then he could actually watch it with the volume down.
Baby,
Hey, what's up, Joe Cronin, ladies and gentlemen?
I I literally tuned in, and I first thing I heard was Joe Cronin.
Oh, look, it's kind of like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, exactly. But I
Yeah.
tuned in. I tuned in. I'm like, oh, because I'm editing right now, and I'm like, all right, this is gonna take 15 minutes to render.
Oh.
So I'm like, all right, what's going on? I'm like, oh, Earl and Arknolia are doing their show. Like, let me listen. And then as soon as I clicked on it, I heard something or Earl say Joe, sorry, Joe or whatever, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Well, we're trying.
Well,
We're
we
kind of trying to pay a compliment here, you know.
yeah we
No,
got how we kind of like miss you or in a way we do love and
no, I
watch
heard.
monetize this. Yeah, we do. We do love
I
the show.
rewound it to hear what you were saying, and I heard what you said. Yeah, it definitely stinks, man, when things change. I mean, you know me, it's changed forever for me. When Tommy and Dave left the show way back in 2013, it was different. It's just always different.
Yeah.
JB wanted to leave to spend more time with his family and do his own thing, and obviously Ken left over a year ago. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Right.
nothing. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can really do about that.
Yeah, that's true.
I,
Yeah, we all you could do is reminisce, folks. That's all we can
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Well, it's okay because it doesn't necessarily mean what you're doing now is bad. It's just different.
Oh
And
yeah. Well,
what you're doing now is fine.
it reminds me of the time right now. Reminds me of the first couple of years of Monetize This. It was kind of like more calm and chilled out, and we were just kind of doing our discussions while having the background game there. And every once in a while, some crazy stuff would happen here or there, some funny things would happen. And you'd have shows that one was really funny, or these few ones were just kind of regular, like
Right.
whatever. But like when we really hit this even around like episode 99, we really hit this stride for hundreds of episodes. But yeah, man, so there's no doubt about it. But I'm sure we'll add some in the next, who knows when, the next few months or in the next weeks or in the next whenever it is, that it will take off again in a more crazy way, or what's going to be next. Who the hell knows? I hope it keeps going. But
So so basically you need to add somebody that's going to get the other members of the call riled up, something like that.
It's always interesting when you have Dave
Yeah.
Rose on there too.
Absolutely, yeah, that's true. There, I was thinking about this. Since Bullfrog is banned from Monetize This, is he banned for life for a certain period of time there?
Nah, he was banned forever, I think.
Uh,
But I mean, Bullfrog hangs out on some creepy areas now, so I
yeah.
just kind of stay
Yeah, I
away
know.
from.
Yeah, because I know he's did shows with YR in the past, and plus, those times what he called it. We DM. By the way, folks, me and Joe DM'd each other all the multiple times Bullfrog has been asking to come on his channel or my channel, and we DM each other all the results of the multiple times he has called.
I'm just sort of done with the whole, you know,
Bullfrog.
well, no, just anybody like being like, I want to be on the show, and if you don't put me on when I'm supposed to be, then I'm gonna go do something against you,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
he's done that a
that's
few times. I mean, like, you remember, he said something about wanting to take down my channel. I said, how are you going to take down my channel when I cause no damn violations?
yeah, it's like, dude, you don't see Arknolia doing anything like that. I
No.
mean, Arknolia is a goddamn producer, and we haven't even gotten our shows like that we were gonna do. We can never hook up. It's hard for me and Dave to hook up, but you don't see Arknolia being like, well, Joe, I'm owed all these things and he's not doing it. I'm gonna go on and do something, and he could go on and at least say like, I'm kind of frustrated by this, and like that would make sense. But these other people just do it just to do it, like to everybody, and it's like, man, if people didn't do that stuff, they would have been on all the time, and they would always be on. But I'm kind of at the point where I'm like,
I think
like,
what it is that they were hoping to be feeling to be that in that spot. They had to figure, well, guess what? I'm gonna get my own spot by going over live over him, and such. Make themselves the top priority. That's what it kind of sounds like to me.
Yeah, I think there is some. What do you call it? Uh,
Arrogance,
no, cloud. Was it cloud chasing or
cloud
something?
chasing, yes.
yeah, it's like a lot of weird stuff.
Oh gosh.
You know what I mean? It's like, if I don't know, it's just, groups of people form to just attack me and stuff like that. And even Dr. Earl, I wasn't promoting you for a little while because you were kind of going on all these places, and I was like, well, I'm not going to promote anything over there because
Well,
he's promoting these other people,
you
and
mean
that's
like
not your
YR? You
fault.
like YR and Scott and all those
Yeah,
idiots?
Well, the
yeah.
one thing I will point out is I've never heard Dr. Earl say a bad word about you.
He has, but it's okay.
Well,
Um,
if if I'm there and I'm involved with it, I kind of am gonna shut it off. I mean,
I don't mind. By the way, you can say, you could say something about me. That's okay. It's just like, it's sort of like a disingenuous thing. And most of the time, Dr. Earl isn't really saying anything bad. He just sort of is like, you kind of go with the flow, Earl. You
Yeah.
agree with, like, if somebody's saying, like, I think this about someone, that about something, Earl will be like, yeah, I can see that, and like, and when you're listening, you're like, what? Like, I did, like,
Yeah, I did. I have done that in the past. I'm learning. It took a long while to not to learn not to do that no more. So, but in a way, I'm done. Like I mentioned many times, I'm done with those idiots. I'm done with those losers. It's just only thing only thing you hear from those guys, is starting shit, getting people riled up, especially with YR, what he does with Scott a few times. And Nicky Nines pointed that out on his program one time there.
well, Dave in the chat has pointed out to all of us that Bullfrog is the star of every show.
as he claims, or as the bullfrog
Well,
claims to be.
let's think about the mentality of what he did. A bullfrog, I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bullfrog comes on my show after he listens to us for a long time. He comes on my show. He says, I'll be your new Tommy or something like that. And I'm like,
He did
what?
say that, yes.
So I'm like, well, I kind of do need some more people now. And, Tommy's being manipulated by people and Tommy doesn't want to be on. And because of it, all right, I'll bring Bullfrog on. And then everybody said, Bullfrog sucks. And why does Joe have him on? And then Bullfrog says, if you don't put me on, I'll go on other people's shows. And I'm like, well, what the hell does that mean? And then then I eventually go, well, F you. And then what does he do? He goes on other people's shows.
Yeah.
All people that bash me about having him on. And then he told those people even that if they didn't, give him what he wants, then he'll go on other people's shows. It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah, no, actually, on my channel, there was an episode that we called The Dark Side of the Pantry, where Ken called in on that Sunday night where we streamed, and he addressed that issue with Bullfrog, because I'm going to go with either Mars Mirror, I'm going to go to JB's show, even I'm going to go on this program, I'm going to hang with YR and his show, or Scott and his show there, here and there. He has done that many times.
He already knew all that because I told him about that before, but you never know with him. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with anybody in this community.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He thinks I'm talking about his family when I'm going on a rant about a troll. So who knows what's up with him either? Anybody in this community is.
But then again, this is the same guy who one time on Ken's program said, "I have the greatest rap song ever." It's like, wait a minute, we have yet to even hear you in karaoke.
Everybody's whacked out, man. So I don't even know what you guys talked about before because I didn't hear it yet. I just kind of went back to be like, what were they saying? But I usually listen to you guys, but not live. I usually hear you, like, I'll hear it later.
Yeah.
But because I was rendering, I was like, oh, I'm going to listen. And then I just heard my name. So I was like, oh, I better call in. I meant to call in, but weeks ago I was going to be on.
Oh, wow.
Remember, you said you come on the show Monday. I don't know if you forgot, but you were like, come on the show Monday. And I was like, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I think so, yes. I think it was after that first corrupted episode that it was a part of, yes.
Yeah. No, and I didn't come on. And I felt bad because I was like, I told Dr. Earl I'd be on. He's on all my shows when I asked him to be. It's just crazy. Something always happens, man. Even me and Dave, I was ready to do it today, but Dave was busy. But other days, Dave is like, what, 4:00? Okay. And then it's something to do with Dave. It's like the gods don't want us to do something. I'm like, yeah, Dave, 4:00. Okay, never mind. Something's going on. 4:30, I'll be there. And then, like, basically, I don't know, like, Leah will, like, an emergency will happen, and she's like, I gotta take this. And I'm like, oh.
Oh, man, I get that a few times around the house over here. In fact, me and Arknolia was part of JB's Cafe on his Patreon earlier today, but sadly, something came about with JB, and we haven't heard from him since then. I since messaged him on Skype, if he wanted to come on the show here, and so far we haven't heard anything. So possibly either Wednesday or Friday we'll probably get a chance to do this thing here.
Yeah. It's, it happens a lot. It's happened to all of us when we used to record. We'd find time and everything, but I mean, we'd always get run into snags here or there with stuff.
A lot of that happens in this community.
Mm-hmm.
I would show up more often for you, Joe, except that you're on later than I can stay up.
Yeah, and you know what? I just thought of something. I was thinking about this about Arknolia. I was thinking, whenever I talk to you, I'm always like, Arknolia sounds just like somebody that I know, and I can't figure out who it is. And I finally figured it out. You sound almost exactly like Les Thatcher.
Oh.
Wow.
Amazing. Go listen to Les Thatcher in like an interview or something. Or I did commentary with Les Thatcher a couple times, so I talked to him a lot. And so I have his voice is ingrained in my head. And I'm like, wow, I think Arknolia sounds a lot like Les Thatcher. It's crazy.
Well, all I need to do is call wrestling.
Yeah, just go ahead. Or find the new Dean Ambrose. But yeah, crazy stuff, man. But what are you guys talking about tonight?
Well,
we're doing recap and then a review of what we're going to do this week.
Okay.
Last week, I don't know if you've heard them yet, but we did 2 shows on the Beatles. Pretty much went over
Yeah.
them pretty much in depth. And then Wednesday, we covered Miami Vice, which was interesting because I actually have never seen the show, but just read about it.
Oh wow, I watched Miami Vice a lot when I was young though.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I
Oh
was really
shit,
young.
Casey's Ross calling in. Casey, I have to add you in
Oh.
because it would take me off the call with Joe and Arknolia.
Yeah, but
That's how
and
my Skype works.
Friday we were going to do Ray Harryhausen. We had stuff come up that we couldn't do it, and you know who Ray Harryhausen is, right?
Don't know.
Okay, let
Look
me
him
try
up.
to-
He was one of the first guys that did like monster films
Yeah.
and did the claymation with the monsters and such and the
Oh,
stop
okay.
action. And it's a pretty good work.
That is
Uh,
pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta have. I was gonna tell Earl, like, if you guys want to do any other episodes or anything else, or we ever get a hold of you, or even if I'm there, cool. If I'm not there, then if you guys ever want to record anything, I'd love to put more stuff up on Patreon and up on the other channel too. Like,
Yes, I say that's a good idea.
well,
Let's
I'm in
just,
favor of that.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
am I
That's
there.
it.
Okay.
And just so you know what's coming this week, tomorrow we're going to go over the British invasion, basically the smaller bands, the ones that
The bands like
weren't.
the Kinks, Hermits, and we're going to do a separate episodes focusing on the Who, the Rolling Stones.
Some of the bigger ones we'll do a separate episode on.
Yeah.
Then Wednesday we're going to talk about the Twilight Zone. If you have an interest there and know enough about it, I'd love to have you on that one.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I that's the reason why I like you guys doing music, because although me and you would have been all right with the maybe 80s, 90s, and whatever the hell music is now, I like you guys' backgrounds on the 80s, 70s, and 60s, and even
Well, we're
50s.
trying to do kind of a history,
Yeah.
and kind of follow it.
A
well, basically,
cyclopedia
starting with
of
classic music.
yeah, a series, kind of like what Ken Burns used to do with baseball and those other the Civil War and everything else, like they do on the History Channel and those public stations.
Yeah, like you guys are like, I look, you know what I mean? Like, I know that we joke around a lot on my show and stuff, but I mean, I look up to you. Like, Earl, you would have been like the cool older friend that I would have hung out with when I was younger and stuff like that, like an older brother type. You don't necessarily get treated that way on the Monetize This, but that's how I feel about you, man. You got so much knowledge, and you and Arknolia, are I look up to you guys. You guys are my elders.
you.
I have respect for your opinions that
We're-
I wasn't around for, and you're going to know a lot more about these things than me, as I'm 36 and
Oh.
I feel old, but I guess I'm not really compared to a lot of the audience is 40, 50 now. I mean, and 60. And
Well, I'm damn near close to double your age.
yeah,
Wow.
you're my mom's age, I think, actually.
Yeah, I'll be 70 in about 2 weeks.
Wow.
But
Good.
it's amazing when you keep yourself
Casey
young.
is raw here, ladies and gentlemen. He is on the call with us.
Hell yeah, Casey. Cut Drew's legs off.
Yeah, we
Okay,
heard
I got
about that
one
earlier,
question
man.
About that. I got one question about that. Is it a work?
No. It's
I mean,
a
if it
shoot.
I wish it was a work. It's a shoot, Casey goes.
Yeah, so what's up, Casey?
Nothing much. I saw Joe, so I was like, I just want to tell Joe, I was like, I'm sorry I betrayed you. Take me back.
Yeah, Drew.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
Casey has left Drew's program from what we had heard earlier on, and for those who are not in the known, but he announced it earlier on the. I guess it was the towards the end of JB's show earlier today. I guess it was his Patreon show. Yes, and that's when he made that announcement.
Well, what kind of piece of shit place to make an announcement is that? No, I'm just kidding. No. No, I'm just kidding, man. I was actually talking to JB earlier, and I'm pretty close. I don't have this definitive yet. I'm pretty close to getting JB on my side, though. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. I'm sure Drew's making a really, like, a last-ditch effort, but I think I'm pretty close to having JB on my side. I don't know. I
Oh.
can't confirm that yet, but I'm working on it.
Oh.
You know, I gotta have him. I gotta have him on my side. So
One of the things that me and Arknolia was talking about that we missed on Monetize This was the rivalry between JB and Leah,
yeah.
especially episode 120 and 121. Especially 121. That was the most
Well, there was a
tripped out
time
episode ever.
that was when Leah didn't like JB, and I kept saying, if you go back, then I always said to him, I'm like Leah, I'm telling you, you're gonna like JB. This you should like this guy, and she's like, no, like blah blah. And I'm like, I'm telling you, like you guys would get along, and they eventually did.
No.
But it was good when they hated each other, though.
I know, because that brought in a lot of the donations, like points to JB, points to Leah. That was that was one of the prime reasons people tuned in onto that show a lot of that period.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think this Friday is going to be a little weird, no
Right.
doubt about it.
Right.
And we're doing episode 299 at episode 299. Anyone and everyone
Wow.
is going to be allowed back on the show for one night, even if they're banned forever. Like they're allowed that night to be on only.
So Bullfrog would be making a guest appearance, I guess.
Right.
And I guess that means that
Boo.
Who knows who else is going to be there, but it's going to be crazy. I know that.
I'll be like, I guess no doubt I'll be asked to call in to go after Bullfrog like I did a few times on those corrupted pre-shows.
Yeah. And then on top of that, episode 300 will be the next week. So
Ah, nice.
it'll be a crazy time on 299 and 300, hopefully. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
Yeah, I may have to try to
Is
show up
that
on one
now?
or two of those.
If it's 300 episodes.
Yep. I can't believe it's going to be 300.
I
but
know, it's like, wow, man.
it's always towards the end of the 100 that the episodes are a little bit like trying to gain a new co-hosting group.
Yeah.
It happened in the late single digits because JB had left at that time, and it was me and Leah and Jesse and then whoever else. Me, Leah, Jesse, and whoever else. And then it was around 100 that around episodes 80 to 90 that I heard the video where Ken was like shitting on me in some video, and I was like, I think you're funny, actually, come on my show. And then Dave Rose came back to the show at the same around just before that. So then all of a sudden it got back together, and then by the late 100s there was an issue, and late 200s there was there's been it's been a mixture of things. So it's weird how that happens, but I'm sure we'll be back to normal soon.
I think a lot of times why people leave, it's not you, Joe. I think what it is sometimes they just get too much of the drama from the trolls, and they need to take time off.
Maybe, but oh god, the trolling stuff and the bad people are off the charts now.
Oh man, I cannot tell you. There was one time Junebug called me at about 4 in the morning, claiming, "Earl, are you in my chat right now at this time of night?" And it turns out it was a fake Dr. Earl account.
Oh, yeah.
So and I was,
it's bad among a lot of I won't say anything specifically, but some people really feed into the hate, the drama, and it's crazy, dude. So
because they have no lives.
I don't take any of it serious at all anymore, and I don't really talk to anybody off air or offline. Even from me, I almost never message you or anybody because I don't really message anybody. I just kind of just do the shows and stuff like that. I think about everybody, but I don't go around messaging everybody much unless it's like, hey, want to come on, and I don't even send that out much often. I just stay away from everything.
Well, you're always busy, though. I mean, you have your shows, and then you have your family life. I mean, it's like Drew, where he has his work, his family life, and then all the shows he does. I mean, you guys just burning the candles on both ends.
Yeah, it is a little crazy. Mine makes sense because obviously I'm doing this and everything else, but his, I remember when I worked, dude, when I was working and doing this at the same time, it was crazy. So I anybody that tries to do YouTube at the same time while working a full-time job, I know exactly how crazy that feels. And it was crazy. But it ended up working out, I guess. So
Yeah.
cool. But it's hard. It's a little rough.
Yeah,
Well,
I was,
basically, one of the things Earl and I got to try to do is figure out a way to. Well, we'll never get monetized on YouTube, and if we do, $2 a month is kind of it's almost a slap in the face.
Yeah,
But
really
need
bad.
to figure out how to do odds and ends like Streamlab, maybe someday Patreon, although we don't have near enough followers for that.
Yeah, I mean, like if you put stuff, well, I'll talk to you later about it, but I mean, if you put stuff on mine, I'll let you know how it does, and sometimes, if it makes money, I can pay out. But it's yeah, like it's just about building the following and then editing all the videos the right way. And all I can tell you,
Right.
what I can do is I can look at what you're doing and I can talk to you about what to do, because I can tell. I've got software and I've got a lot of other things like where I can look at everything and figure out why things are not working or working, and I can help you with that. I'll look at the channel. I mean, you've been a $25 patron forever, so I mean, like, I'll just do this stuff for you guys. I'll let you know, Earl, and you. I'll look over Earl's channel and what you're doing, and there's got to be a way to. I can probably
Well,
see what's missing.
I know on my own channel, every one of my videos have a blank screen because I haven't figured out how to do that on OBS yet.
Oh, right.
I am.
Yeah, you got to
I
add
have thumbnails, but I don't.
OBS is harder than XSplit, but it's free, so OBS is better for that.
That's
But
true. Yeah. And plus, for me, the OBS is the best way to come up with those echo effects after towards the end of my either dark ambient or techno stream.
right.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you ever noticed on my channel, I had a little thing called a little echo test. What I did,
Yeah.
I was streamed live with Keith and YR, and what we did is I turned up the volume on the YouTube Studio tab, and also the other tab where it was displaying on my channel that I was alive, and I just kept them at a certain volume level where I was able to echo on and on and on and on, and I did this a couple times with the past two streams I did, whether it's the Pathway to Exegol or the recent techno one that I have on my SoundCloud called At War with the World and Myself. I
Mhm.
definitely urge you to listen that all the way through, by the way. And plus the new version of the piece that I sent you through the, what it was, Twitter or Skype, the Abandon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was.
I have a new version of that. That's over 2 hours long. It's extended and remixed.
I got to check it out. Yeah, I listened to that one night when I was playing Diablo. I put that on and just. That's usually when I listen to it when I'm playing games.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about possibly doing another dark ambient piece. So right now, on my by the way, I'm also on my Facebook. I'm doing what is called a Halloween soundscape series. I'm going to be doing number 12 pretty soon there, and I'm thinking about possibly doing some of that was based on Carrie White, the Stephen King character.
Uh huh.
And but one of the I also mentioned to Arknolia possibly doing a special episode about the movie series Carrie and how it relates to the school bullying situations.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a really good idea, because yeah, that's what it all comes from, and yeah, to bring up like how bullying happens and the results and consequences, and for
Yeah,
every action
because
there's
because they're
people.
like because the bottom line is when you bully someone to the point where they reach that point of no return, they're going to turn into Carrie Whites, not with telepathic powers, but with assault weapons.
That's like I remember what used to happen with Tommy, like on the show when we would really joke with Tommy, or we'd make some jokes about things, and
Yeah,
then when some other people on the show would get kind of drunk or whatever, and they would
yeah,
start really being mean to him, and he got angry. And I remember one night I got angry at everybody. I wasn't
yeah.
angry at Tommy. I was angry at everybody, even Leah. I think I was even mad at. I was mad at everybody. If you go, it's the one where I flipped out, because then I flipped out on Tommy, because Tommy then started yelling at me, and I was like, "What are you yelling at me for? I'm trying to help you." Because
208 it
Yeah, I
was.
remember that.
Yes.
yeah, I
I
was
remember
mad
that.
because I felt like we had already kind of made the jokes, and at this point, Tommy didn't think it was funny anymore at all,
Yeah.
and he was actually
He thought it was
he was actually
serious.
yeah, he was getting really angry, and I was like, okay, like this, what are we gonna keep like doing the same joke over and over to him? Like, so I kind of wanted to move on at that point. Like, I didn't want, if he flips out, I think it's funny when if he gets flips out over stupid things that come out of nowhere, but when he flips out because people are just beating him up, like,
Yeah.
it's like I'm like, this isn't funny. So I remember that's why I was getting angry in that episode, because I said, hey, let's calm down on that. You know what I mean? Like, if he gets mad on his own because we're giving him some shit, that's his thing. But if you're just pounding on him with this over and over again, you can hear it. You can hear it in my voice and the people around that were kind of adding on, and I was getting sick of it. And that's why I got angry. But then he got mad at me, and then all that anger came out at him instead, because I was like, I'm helping you.
Yeah, so we remember that, man. Yeah, that's the loudest he ever shouted. I'll tell you
That's
that right there.
That's not the one where he said gracious or whatever. That was a different one. But
Ah.
this was old. This was going way back.
I see.
See, I'm guilty of doing that to him. Like you said, sometimes it's hard to stop the joking when, like, I'm not really meaning anything when I joke with him, but sometimes it is hard to stop, you know?
Because you get so into it.
Oh,
Yeah.
But then again, coming from Tommy's perspective, sometimes anybody with autism often has a hard time
right.
distinctifying which is a joke and which is seriousness. Because it's the way it's being delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to throw away the autism thing and just kind of treat him like I would treat
A
anybody.
regular person, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But I do understand, but at the same time, like, I don't like it when he's actually confused and he really thinks people are coming at him either. So it's a hard thing to balance, what you're going to say. Like the joke about Casey, like, that has been everybody's crucifying or whatever, some people.
Yeah.
It's like that's a rough one that, like, I don't know if we're going to go there with this, but, it's kind of like, I think he'll get a laugh. And, the funny thing is, like, I've heard other people make these jokes to him, and those are some of the same people being like, this is bad. But it's like,
Yeah.
like I've heard
True,
Filthy.
yeah.
Filthy
Yeah.
Mouth said this about his wife. You know what I
See,
mean?
that's the thing. Is like they come to me. I'm like, they're using me as bait. I'm like, like I said
They
this
get you
before.
riled up, because when they get you
Yeah.
riled up, they see you react, and that's what draws in a lot of viewers. And that's a good
Well,
lot of
what
attention.
do you mean? What do you mean is bait? What do you mean?
Like trying to make me like
Lose
trying to,
your
like,
shit.
not only lose my shit, like trying to turn on the community. Just
Oh.
kind of like what they do
Well,
with Tommy a little bit, you
Oh,
know.
you mean Ken and Filthy?
No, I'm talking about. Well,
Mostly
it's
Filthy.
not- it's just anyone
He
who
don't give
tries.
Filthy don't give a shit about any of that. He don't care about any of that. He just says what he wants to say. He don't care about if people are, getting mad at his jokes. He doesn't give a shit. I don't either. That's the thing. Like, neither of us, nobody does. But I've seen people, from just troll bags everywhere saying like, "Oh, how could you?"
Yeah.
But then they don't say that when he says that. So when he says that, it's funny. When I say it, I'm some kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it's fake. It's a fake outrage. They're using Casey, like you just said. People are using Casey for fake outrage to White Knight or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, if Casey said off the air, like, "Hey, like, I don't," it's funny, but like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'd be like, all right, I'm sorry, bro. I won't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to do it too much. It's kind of a one-time only joke. You know what I mean? You make it once and you don't really go back.
Yeah.
It's because it's, and I care about him and I care about, he deals with this all the time still, I'm sure. And it's a sad thing. And, Arknolia has treatments that he has to do every week. A lot of people are going through a lot of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And you never know what somebody's going through, everybody.
That's true. That person you made fun of in the high school locker room, crying, you made fun of him for crying, but you probably don't know that his mother is going through a stage 3 cancer at his house. So
Yeah,
who knows?
That's why real bullying in school. I mean, if someone's in on a joke, I mean, that's a different thing. If it's a joke and someone's whatever, but if you're starting this bullying thing, which is what people do, I don't like that. I don't like the 3 people shitting on you and you're not there. It's kind of like we've been joking around on Twitter and Himmelgod, people are like, oh my god, he said he's gonna repo your thing. I'm like, he's joking, you dildo, he's kidding. It was like back when back when fake Paul 3's in your chat, by the way. It's like that's got to be fake Paul. That's like back when I didn't go to New York because that Blake guy, he was like, he sent me the no ma'am thing, and the reason why I never met Himmelgod. Part of it was because Leah and like stuff was going on here, but part of it was also that he was like angry at me for opening that box, and it had a note that said "Don't open or tell anybody."
Yeah,
I didn't
remember
know that. I was opening like 8 boxes on stream, and I didn't see the note. I was just like opening shit, and I'm like, cool.
I remember that. You had no
Yes, I
problem.
remember. I remember the little snippet that Blake sent to you. It's like, God damn it, Joe, you were not supposed to reveal that to anybody.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I will, he was basically like angry at me and threatening me. And then he would say to me, like, when you come, you better not be, fuck things up or whatever. If
Yeah.
you come. And I'm like, what? What does that mean? What the hell are you talking about? Why would I fuck anything up? What? I thought we were all just hanging out. And then the vibe I got from him and someone else, I just kind of went, oh, I don't think they want me there. I'm not going to go, I guess. Like, what the fuck? And it was just weird, dude. It's just stuff like that. Where one person who normally talks to you stops talking to you.
Yeah.
Then the other guy's giving you shit. Then you don't know why you're giving shit. That's sort of like exclusion thing.
Yeah.
I hate
Yes.
that. They did that in school. People did that in GU in school. It was like, what the fuck is that? What are we all 40? Like, I mean, what's going on?
Or 12 years
damn
old.
near close that. I mean, shit. I'm 38.
You're a Kurt Schilling.
Me and Arknolia are
And-
older than two of both you guys.
And that's not Paul 3 in your chat. It's probably the copy guy.
Never heard
But
of
he goes,
I never heard of
exploit-
Paul 3.
No, he's a guy in the chats, but he's got there's a fake guy going around. He's like, you
that's-
exploit disabled people. Yeah, well, if that's the case, then so doesn't almost every show that you listen to. So, but the thing is, Tommy begged us. Tommy begged for a long time to be on the shows. He begged to be on the shows.
Yeah.
And we put him on, and everybody does, man. Everyone's welcome on all the time. Does it allow for comedy? Like, can you take advantage of some people's maybe their lack of understanding about some things that make things funny and stuff like that? And yeah, I mean, that certainly happens. You know what I mean? You can have a lot more control when somebody's unaware of what's going on, or maybe they say things that are outlandish. But I find it, I don't know, I find it curious and I find it interesting, and so doesn't a lot of other people that I know that have shows. Everybody does, because it's interesting to hear people's perspectives or what they think about or what comes to their mind. It's fun. It's funny,
Yeah.
No, yeah, I already talked about the Himmel God thing, Paul. He's kidding, bro. He actually DM'd me, goes, what the fuck's, like, people actually think I'm going to repo your house? I'm like, dude,
Oh, man. Yeah. Sure.
the fuck, dude? People actually, like, it's funny, man. People believe almost anything or nothing. It's weird. I don't know.
People
But yeah,
believe
that guy-
anything that they hear.
It's not even legally possible.
I know. It's a funny ass joke, and the guy knows what he's doing, and it's funny. And here's the other thing: Himmelgod could club me in the back with a baseball bat, and I wouldn't get mad at it, because the guy owed the guy so much. Like, it does, like, Himmelgod could say that he's like coming to fucking repossess Leah from me, and I'd laugh
Oh my
at that.
gosh.
He'd say he was coming to take Leah away to his Jewish temple, and and I don't know, like, whatever. And it would be funny, because there's nothing that guy could do to even if he hated me and he clubbed me to death with a baseball bat. I'd say, thank you, sir. May I have another? That guy can do no wrong, almost, in my eyes. So it doesn't matter what he does. I don't care what what joke he makes. He's kidding. But people are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even if he hadn't have been kidding or something, I would have been like, oh, fuck, it's how he feels. I don't know. But come on. I do got to go watch Raw now, though, but I had a lot of fun.
Good luck with that one.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, one more thing, Joe, I need to bring up, and that Bullfrog is the man, going back to the idiot that is Bullfrog, he was on the simulcast between me and Minnesota Vikings fan, and he was addressing the what happened on that one throwdown during the first presidential debate where he's screaming at you, oh, do something about it. If you don't do something about this, I'm going to shoot you. I asked about it, and apparently he thinks, and I know you addressed this with him, he seems to think that if Joe tells Awandi and Bolsey to stop messaging him, stop blowing up his Twitter and his Skype, they were going to do it. I'm like, hold up, Bullfrog. This community runs its own self. When you look at it, Joe is, yeah, he's a veteran of the YouTube streaming, but he's not. He does not control the community.
Yeah, if I had said stuff about like, I hope people attack you, or I hope this happens, or I'm gonna do this, I'd get what he's saying. But he's basically was saying that like, and I'm like, I have nothing to do with your beef with other people. I'm not telling anybody to do anything to you, so I don't know why you're, blaming me because you're in a fight with somebody else.
And I even suggested, just shut the volume down when they're calling you. Just continue on what you were doing. Look at it and say, whatever. Give us a break. Just
Well,
better shut the Skype off. But then again, you gotta realize he does his shows from his phone most of the time there.
yeah, he's just being ridiculous
Oh,
because who knows? I mean, he wants attention, so he's just
I
saying.
know, it's true, yeah. What can we do? It's just, and God knows how many times would you have to say that I was on the Discord Saturday night with Bullfrog on JB's Discord there, and we were kind of like, discussing the issues up there that were between us because, he was a guest frequently on my channel a couple of times there. We had a few shows we did together. But when he started going off, saying that Ken was judging him, discriminating him because we brought up a few times the way he called in demands to be on this show or demands to be on this co-host, or better yet, we often address it the way he often flaunts his sexuality. He seems to think that we're judging him, discriminating him. I would say no, that's not so. That's not so, man. And what really teed me up is the way he disrespected two other guys on the call, Bobby McMillan and Kevin Hamilton, who found me out of accidentally. They called in the previous week. We had a great show. It was supposed to do a part two there, but as you know, things went awkward, and that's when that really pissed me off, the way he acted, the way he conducted himself. That's why I stopped doing shows with him. Like, come
Well,
on.
he's always going to be this way,
Yeah.
and basically people will utilize him if they want. I'll probably have him on at some point. Everybody probably will, because he's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And it's entertaining.
Yeah.
But
All right.
yeah, but if you look too much into him or spend too much with him, first he gets old after a little while, and also if you get too involved in him, he's gonna hurt you eventually. He's gonna hurt somebody, and I don't mean physically. I mean, do things to people like, and just he'll within the same day he'll say that I need to be taking him down and all this stuff. Then an hour later he's tweeting me to be on the show. Hey Joe, put me on. Let's do a show together.
I know.
Didn't an hour ago you say that? It's like the guy is a mess. You know what I mean? And some people utilize that because they know he's an idiot. Like I could probably do something horrible to the guy, like in real life or something, and then he'd probably be on my show that night. He doesn't fucking care. He's crazy.
I know. It's something's with him, and that's not. I think it's more than the autism that he claims he has.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
See, there's difference from autism and just someone just straight up dumb.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, he's just straight up dumb.
Yeah. I think we all agree on that.
I will catch you guys later, man. Thank
All right,
you.
you have a good one. Joe Cronin,
See you.
ladies and gentlemen. He's going to watch Monday Night Raw right now. Hope it's better than the past few episodes there.
Past couple of years, actually.
Yeah, I guess that's a better way to put at it. So,
But the one thing I would say, trying to make sense with him with Bullfrog, it's like trying to make sense with someone who's insane.
like talking to a brick wall.
Exactly. It's like you're not gonna get anything across him. I'm like,
But then again, it's the same thing with Scott and YR. So obviously, those two or three are going to find something with one another there.
I just stay away from those two.
I've been staying away from it a long time. The only time I had any communication with YR is when I called in with our tribute to Eddie Van Halen, and that was pretty
Yeah,
much about it. I know a couple of times, before that, YR said a comment on my one of my videos there, saying, Eddie Van Halen passed away. I'm sorry, we need to get back together, do something there, and I mentioned this to Nikki Nines when I was on his confessions program. Whenever Dave Rose and Minnesota Vikings fan would try to convince me, you don't need YR, you're better off doing Metal Maniacs on your own and such. YR would message me the next day saying, don't listen to them. They're just so for trolls. What we got is a beautiful thing. And when I hear stuff like that, that kind of
yeah,
reminds me of both Emperor Palpatine, saying, you don't need the Jedi, Anakin. The Jedi are liars. I will teach you the real ways of the Force. It sounds something like that, like they're trying to lure you away from your friends or lure away from the people who matter to you, and and that kind of bothered me, and that aided in one of the reasons why I left that show. When they start talking stuff like that, and I'm sorry, I cannot work with this kind of person.
uh, you know what's weird? I know during the original series, you only knew the Emperor just as Emperor, but
Yes.
honestly, after the third movie, we find out Palpatine was
Yeah,
the Emperor.
Chief Palpatine, yes.
And then in the later ones and the newer ones, it's Emperor Palpatine now. I'm like, shouldn't they said that shit in the original series?
Hmm. I do not know. You have to ask George Lucas when he was coming up with the original storyline there. But then again, he kind of decided to give him his original name later for the prequels there.
I just thought that was cool how they used the same guy from the original series throughout the whole series.
Yeah. You got to give it up to the man, Ian McDiarmid. He is one class actor. He knows how to channel Palpatine pretty damn well there.
Oh yeah. See,
Absolutely.
I didn't realize that was the Emperor until it was revealed.
Yes. And
I was like,
by the way, the original theatric version of Empire Strikes Back, that was somebody else portraying him. By
oh
the way,
really?
yes, it was. They fixed that in, I guess, in '97 for the to get people prepared for the prequels that would come a couple years later.
He did look different, didn't he? It was almost looked like some guy with some like a Mongol, or like that one part of the glasses.
Yeah,
It's almost like he's wearing one of those deals.
something like that. Yeah, I guess it kind of looks that way. Hell, I don't know if you ever saw that, but whoever it was, I think it was Cunning Chris who did it, but he put an image of me in the place of Palpatine, and with my voice altered on a couple of scenes there. Some sort of a skit that he put together on beginning one of Ken's programs. I saved, I screenshotted that and I posted on my Facebook there. I just might use one of those for my next thumbnail, believe it or not.
So, are we knowing if there's going to be another uh, trilogy coming out?
If there is, I would love to have it based on the storylines and something original, taking place in somewhere within the old Republic. That would be nice. I would like to see that. All
Do
right,
you think? Well, do you think it'll be something with Ray? Continue it.
I have no clue, but it would be interesting to see how Rey Skywalker functions as a role as this new Jedi there.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, some people they're like, oh, they don't like it as her being the main character. I don't mind it. It's when you overdo it. I
Yeah.
mean, kind of like how they did with the Ghostbusters.
I know. Especially with the female Ghostbusters, which we all agree was a stupid thing to do. That was PC from the head to
Oh,
from start to finish there.
yeah, I don't think it was that horrible, but still, it wasn't great. I still like two over that one.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see what the boys at Disney and Lucasfilms have to come up with, because they're right now trying to make Star Wars as great as the Marvel's universe. Well, actually, they're slowly building that up with the Mandalorian series there on Disney
Yeah.
Plus. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, on the call right now, Devious Dave Rose. He is on the call right now. What's up, Dave?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, we're doing
Hey.
well out here.
No, I just thought I'd call in since you were asking earlier. I was
Yeah.
just baking and stuff, but yeah, I got more to do, so
Ah,
I just thought I'd check in and stuff.
yeah, with everything's
Well, I'm
going
kind
good.
of sorry you missed the Beatles episodes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I did message you about coming on and
Yep,
participating in those there.
yeah, but things came up, so
That's
I mean,
understandable. Yes. Yeah. So
Stuff happens.
I know we were trying to get Minnesota Silver Roll to come on as well. He mentioned about it, but I wasn't able to get a hold of him for some reason. But then again, who knows what's going on with him and his cousin?
I
How
hear
much
you.
are you into? How much are you into '60s music? Do you know a lot about it?
A fair bit. I mean, yeah, I know a fair bit, I would say.
All right, I
I
gotta
mean,
take a leak. I'll
obviously
let you
nothing
guys talk.
like it's that's also a very trepidatious question, I guess, because I mean it's literally like approaching the sages in the holiest of holies, and they're asking like, "Are you prepared?" Like apostle, are you really prepared to show your knowledge? So it's
Well, it's kind
Yeah,
of like
I
the
went.
Procol. It's kind of like the Procol Harum song "In Hell 'Twas I," where he did all this stuff so he could go see the master, and he goes up and asks the master. He says, "Master, what is the meaning of life?" And the master looked and smiled and said, "Life is like a beanstalk, isn't it?"
Hmm.
Have you ever heard that song?
I don't think so. I obviously I know Procol Harum, but
Well, that's
yeah.
about an 18-minute. I guess you could call it an early prog song because it's definitely prog.
Nice. I loved it when you would find a song that was like, close to 20 minutes. I mean, it told a story and it was taking you on a journey too, you know?
Well, that thing's an epic. It's really good. And Robin Trower was in Procol Harum when that song came out, so he's doing the guitar in that song. But
I'll def-
it's a good song to listen to. In fact, it was good enough that I think it was Transatlantic covered it. One of those groups, I forget which one it was, but I think it was Transatlantic, or it might have been Dream Theater. It was one of those later prog groups, but they covered the song too. But the Procol Harum version is absolutely fantastic. If you ever get a chance to hear it.
What's the album called?
Oh, it's on their. God, I think it's on their Broken Barricades. You know what? I'm going to have to look that up. I think it's broke. No, it's not Broken Barricades. Let me look that up real quick. That won't take but a minute. I'll look at my. Oh, I don't know. Let me look on my Windows Media because I know I have it. You name it, I probably have it. I think Dr. Earl and I talked about this at one time. I have 300 or 400 MP3s.
Very nice.
I usually have over like
Look,
900 songs on my phone,
Hey,
but
YR, can you give me, it's not YR, sorry, I'm looking at the chat.
hey,
Seeing YR, it just reminds me of this. Can I get a wrench so I can just remove the trash from the chat here? Because it's like, oh, I don't get it. Okay, well then why are you here? Why are you watching? I mean, give the video the thumb down that makes you, feel so special in your little pathetic life and move along. You know, let the adults actually talk about things that you'll never learn about, that you'll never care about, because your lives are basically going to be cut short by your own stupidity and worthlessness. Whether it be drug
Actually,
overdosing, ending up in jail, getting murdered for your own stupidity, your fates are sealed.
it's on in the Shine On Brightly album.
Okay, cool. I'm just gonna like
Yeah,
look up the album and just listen to the whole thing, because
it's
that's,
See?
to me,
pretty
that's
good.
the way an album's supposed to be listened to. At least it was. Okay, I gotta be
That's
honest. It's not the way it
that's
is
a good
now.
point. No one
Um,
really does that no more, though. Like if you listen to CDs, you only want to skip right to the song you like.
no, but that, yeah, I agree. But the thing is, though, the reason why is because artists really aren't thinking about creating albums. They're thinking about creating songs. So when you create an
Yeah,
album, you're
Singles,
telling story.
singles, yeah.
You know, you want them connected, and you know, although, like for example, the Omadon by Mike Oldfield. Although, yeah, you have songs at certain time points. It literally, like, there's no stop in the music. It just is flowing. It doesn't stop. It literally is a 90-minute song.
Yes, with the
So
different sections here and there detailing it.
exactly, that's
Yes,
it. Exactly, and the difference is
Well, it's
that is an
obviously
album, not
yeah.
the fucking garbage that you have today, which is
Just
you know, let's just
some
write one song about this and one song totally different, and
add a
yeah, it's
auto
catchy,
tune.
and yeah, and you know, we need one more track to fill this album, you know, like let's just make up some garbage.
Yeah,
yeah. It's usually like you'll have one or two hits, and then it's just a load of garbage.
yep.
well.
And
What
think about, and
would, in
think,
your estimation, be the first concept album?
Um, I I don't have the knowledge necessary to say to even begin to identify that. I mean,
Well, a
there's
lot of people say it's the Moody Blues, Days of Future Past, but I kind of disagree with that because actually Sergeant Pepper was a concept album,
that's
hmm,
true.
and in
let
its
me
own
look it
way,
up here. I'm back there.
Satanic Majesties was
Up,
by the Stones was a concept album,
something like
albeit a
that.
copy of Sergeant Pepper.
Well, you had a lot of experimentation as well. I can't say for certain.
Oh yeah,
My knowledge is very limited compared to you guys in this respect. And
I'm
I mean,
looking up.
just look at even the early '60s. You know, it wasn't necessarily
yeah,
the rock and stuff, but you had the explosion of usage of electronic type or pre-electronic type machines. And I can't remember the names of some of these. They're the weirdest names, but like maybe Arknolia, you remember them, like
Yeah.
these little metal poles, and it looks like a little keyboard or something, and you move your hands around the poles, and it makes noise.
Hmm.
it's close to a Mellotron, but that's not a
Something
Mellotron.
like, yeah, exactly. All those instruments were basically created in what, the late '50s, early '60s, and you had like beat bands, like beatniks and shit, using them as well. And then eventually, you know, you started the like experimentation. A lot of stuff, from what I gathered, was happening in the UK, where you got, again, a lot more experimentation with this type of you know, new equipment.
Right. I'm looking up the
Well,
no,
the
I'm
Moog
looking,
synthesizer was first used by, of all people, the Monkees.
yeah, on that album there also. I think it was Capricorn Jones Limited. I think the title of what it was, if I'm correct there. I remember one of the
Yeah,
tracks.
the song was Daily Nightly,
Yeah, and it was
and
featured on one of the
that's actually
episodes of there.
pretty cool.
And plus, it was
Yeah,
even featured in towards the end there. They had it with them while Mickey Dolenz was twiddling the knobs there. And it was a big ass
yeah.
thing there back then with the small compact keyboards that we have now. And I'm leading up the story. I guess the supposed storyline for Sergeant Pepper. That basically was the album was conceptually wise as a performance by the fictional Sergeant Pepper band, an idea that was conceived during the recording the title cut there. A key work of British psychedelic incorporates range of stylistic influences, including the vaudeville, circus, music hall, avant-garde, western, Indian, classical music, and I guess it kind of did had a feature a little concept as with the Sergeant Pepper group featured throughout the album.
Yeah, some scholars, I guess you can call them, also credit the Beatles with doing the first prog with Rubber Soul and Revolver.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of stretching it a little bit, but I can see it.
I remember there was this one that Dave, that one episode of Montage this where you and I and JB were all discussing prog rock and who was a
Yeah.
prog rock. This was the band
Yep.
Boston a prog rock. I remember that.
Yes. Oh yeah, that we got into a huge debacle fight there.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I think, but basically the band. I think I looked up the band Boston that night, and I guess it depicted them as just American rock band with some prog rock movements into it.
Influence, yes, there was a little bit, but you can't just call somebody that has influences prog rock, and that's
Yeah.
like also a point I was trying to
Exactly.
make. But like Wikipedia is weird, and it shouldn't really even be taken as
Serious.
because I ended up going on to music forums and stuff, and like this is a serious issue that people debate. But like again, I never thought that Boston was prog rock.
Yeah.
Like some definitions call them stadium bands or stadium rock.
Yeah.
I'm dated, but I call it classic rock, or at least to me that's classic, but it's classic 70s, whatever. Bottom line is that we got into this huge fight, and he refused to accept that Boston wasn't progressive. He was always, no, they're progressive.
Well, the only song that I could even say is progressive is Foreplay Long Time.
But then again,
That one maybe.
yeah, maybe so, or possibly the launch and then Cool the Engines from the Third Stage record there, or the Journey and that other song that followed from the second album. But for me, I think
Right.
the what comes close to it as an American prog rock group would have to be the band Kansas.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
one of
I'd
the
have to
very
agree.
early progs.
Uh-huh.
Definitely there. By the way, my favorite album cover from them was Monolith from 1979.
Yeah, and actually the very first album had an interesting cover with was it John Brown?
I think it was.
I don't remember, but it's the old guy with the beard,
Yes,
you know,
in the middle
citing
there.
people.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Abolitionists.
Yeah, I think that was John Brown, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, because there was
Yes.
an abolitionist named John Brown. I guess that's the focus of, I guess, a movie that stars Ethan Hawke at this right now. I guess that's trending.
Right. Well, when we discuss Kansas, and we will, because that's one of my favorite groups.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
It's in my top 20 easy. We can go over a lot of stuff by them.
Yeah, absolutely
'Cause
there.
their albums, a lot of their albums are classic.
Yeah, and we're going beyond Dust in the Wind and Carry On Wayward Son. We're going beyond those two songs
Oh,
there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Magnum Opus. Wow.
Yep. People
That
of the
song is
South
killer.
Wind. That's a pretty good song. I remember
Yeah.
hearing that on the radio when that album Monolith was out there, and that's at the time when I was really
Song for
discovering rock.
America.
Yes, absolutely. We got to
Icarus,
definitely,
Born on the Wings of Steel.
yeah. And we also got to take a look at
Lamplight Symphony.
And we also got to take a look at after just Steve Walsh left the group and John Elefant took his place as their frontman there.
Right.
You know, because a lot of people forget about Fight Fire with Fire, Everybody's My Friend, and of course the main one, Play the Game Tonight.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of material to cover with Kansas.
Yeah.
Kansas is an easy one to cover.
Yeah.
And of course, see, as we're talking prog rock, we got to go over the various iterations of King Crimson.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I think they're in there. I guess it's What is it? Their seventh lineup currently at this moment with the three drummers.
Yeah, I was going to say it's up there a while. You know, it's up there a ways because I know that they've been through a few. And then we got, well, when we get to Deep Purple, we got the various marks there.
Yep.
And I got a question there. A lot of people consider them metal,
Mm-hmm.
which I do, but not the first mark. The first mark wasn't so much metal as the second on.
Yeah.
First mark was good, but it wasn't what I would consider metal. But that's a personal opinion, I suppose.
Yeah. But it's a predecessor to heavy metal to put forth there.
Yeah, and there were songs that were close, but the first one was more kind of a the first mark. I mean, was more of a hard rock. They had 3 albums, but they
Yeah.
were not so much metal as they were kind of hard rock without being metal.
Yeah. And I know it's the first market you're talking about there. I had one of their tapes, so there are shades of deep purple there. And we're talking about when Ian Gillan became their front man. Because
Yeah,
on their first mark, somebody else was their front man. And this is upon the period when they covered that Joe South song, Hush.
right, right. And other covers, you know, that they did
The
too. They did
Beatles,
more
The Help.
covers then.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this actually the second album, Book of Taliesin, was pretty decent.
Mm.
I actually like that one better than Shades of.
Ah.
And the third one didn't do real well because they were recording at that time for a record company by the name of Tetragrammaton, I think.
Yes.
And right about the time they recorded that album, the company went broke. Very few copies of that album got sold early, and it came out later. And that's actually a pretty good album.
Mm.
But the best of the first 3 albums, in my opinion, was Book of Taliesin. That one was just incredible.
Yes. I gotta look at that.
But look that one up because there's some
I'm
songs in
looking
there
out
that'll
there. It
just
was
blow
American.
you away.
Yeah, it was American record label founded in '68 by music industry executives Roy Silver, Bruce Post Campbell, Martin Dean, and Bill Cosby. Believe it
Yeah, I
or
was going to
not.
say I thought Bill Cosby had a part in
Yeah,
that.
yeah, he has had a part of that record label. In fact, I remember he released an album. I guess a recording some sort of it was one of those 2 shows a night at some sort of a hotel or something like that. And I guess he did
Oh
the
yeah, I
first
remember that.
show and the second show. Both were recorded for that particular album there. It was
Yeah, I
also
remember that one
it was
actually.
also responsible for releasing the controversial Unfinished Music #2, 2 versions in the United States that featured John and Yoko, both in the buff there, front and back nude.
I remember that too.
Yes, absolutely. Plus, along with the 3 Deep Purple albums as well, and stepped in as the distributor after Capitol Records. They refused the album there. I guess what it was. I got to look up more onto this because it just clicked on here. Now, the album 2 Versions was declared to be about pornography by some authorities. Um, the label fell into financial difficulties related to the distribution of that album. Apparently, 30,000 copies of that album was seized by police at a warehouse in New Jersey, and the records were held as evidence in a court case which made it impossible for the label to sell at that time. Now, the Cosby album that I just referred to, 815, 1215, was also released on the label
Right.
as a double set, as well as 2 albums by a comedian Murray Roman. You Can't Beat People Up and Have Them Say I Love You. And of course, another one called A Blind Man's Movie. Now, a number of the label's projects were left unissued. Among these was the second album by Elise Weinberg and an album by the Memphis musician Captain Milk, whose real name was Edward Hubbard, who described himself as a flute picker, I guess.
Well, the Deep Purple, their third album,
Yeah.
was basically self-named,
Mm-hmm.
and it got caught up in that too because it sold very few copies.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't recall the number, how many, but it was pretty much held up by all of this stuff too.
Yeah.
And if you ever get a chance to listen to that album, it's pretty decent.
Yes.
There's some good songs on all three of those first albums, but they just don't. To me, they're not metal.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a personal opinion. They're more hard rock. A few elements of prog in there.
It's
They
hard.
do a pretty good version
It's
of River
hard
Deep,
rock
Mountain
at that
High.
time, but it would be before Black Sabbath, Uriah Heep, and it's kind of like it's the same with the Crazy World of Arthur Brown. Needless to say.
Right. Do you consider Zeppelin to be a hard or a metal band? Because a lot of experts do. I kind of mind they're close, but not quite.
They weren't exactly heavy metal, but even though their sound and style played a massive part in in heavy metal music.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they're
Oh, absolutely.
proto heavy metal.
Yes.
Like, as in they started off in that sort of direction with a lot of influence and influence on others, but then sort of did their own thing and steered and became, Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. About the
Yeah,
same.
exactly. They were their own band, actually.
Yeah. Kind of like the same way the MC5 and Iggy Pop and the Stooges are considered proto-punk.
Right.
Yeah.
And kind of a lot of people say the first metal band was Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
And actually, people will make cases for at least one American band that was close. Have you ever heard Blue Cheer of Incubus Eruptum?
I've heard it.
That came out before Sabbath. And that is nothing but metal. I mean, that album is hard rocking.
Yes, if you
They
heard
do a cover of Summertime Blues.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was just like kicking way back then. I mean, like when you think about it, I remember the
the other five songs are the same pattern.
Yeah, wow, I gotta.
They did a cover of Parchment Farm. They did a song called Second Time Around that is just absolute nuts. It's a good song.
Mm-hmm.
And another one called Out of Focus that's good. And I forgot the name of the other one. There's only 6 songs on the album, but several of them are fairly long.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. I'm looking that up right now. It was released in January of 1968. It features a heavy, thunderous blues sound, which would later become, of course, known as heavy metal. It was a critical and commercial success. It peaked at number 11 on the Billboard 200 album charts and spawned the top 20 hit cover of the, of course, as you mentioned, Summertime Blues. Being an example of hard rock, it also included the first heavy metal albums. Of course, Spin magazine placed it 22 on their list of one of the 40 greatest metal albums for that magazine there. Definitely.
Oh, it is definitely a good listen, and it's some hard music.
I got it. Now you got me intrigued, man. Definitely got to check it out. To definitely look it up on YouTube or something else there for shizzle, man. Definitely.
Well, Second Time Around, I think is the name of the song. It's got some very hard driving guitar, good vocals, and then it's got an awesome drum solo in it.
Oh yeah. All right.
But it's definitely worth a listen.
All right. All right. So, Casey, Dave, are you guys willing to participate on their next few episodes of the second half of the British Invasion series that we're going to do tomorrow and Thursday night there?
I don't know if I can. Like this, my schedule now is kind of weird, so I mean, best thing to do is just hit me up prior to going live and say, we're starting a show soon. Let me know if you want to be in. And, if you hear back from me, then chances are I'm in, and if not, I'm probably doing stuff.
All right.
Because
And
my Skype doesn't fucking show me even if I change my status, it doesn't show it. I don't understand. It keeps updating. It updates all the time and still doesn't change the status. So.
all right. How about you, Casey? Is Casey still here? I gotta check, dude. I
Well, on
think
Tuesday we'd
he
start at
left.
6. Well, on Tuesday we'll start at 6, and on Thursday we'll start at 5.
There, that's right. Yeah,
Your time.
yeah. Our time, the Central Time
Well,
area.
yeah.
That's where we live
Sorry, it's
here.
it's kind of I see the clock and that's what I go by. And yeah, I know there's different time zones and all that, but it's not
Yeah.
something you really think about.
I'm in Eastern, so.
Ah, I see. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I always add Eastern time whenever I tell somebody the time,
I
because
know.
you can't spell best without est.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Definitely. All right. So I guess Casey took off without us knowing about it. I guess there. So all right.
Well,
I'll definitely
yeah, that's okay.
I'll message him on Skype, to see if he wants to be a part of of our coming shows this weekend pertaining to the British invasion, the Twilight Zone, and Ray Harryhausen.
Harryhausen.
Yes, definitely there.
And I'm sure Dave's familiar with him.
Yes,
Who?
Ray
Ray
Harryhausen.
Harryhausen.
He was like one of the pioneers of the special effects of monsters in some of the movies, like the Seven
Oh,
Voyages.
you guys were talking about him earlier, where he did Clash of the Titans, and he did
The original.
the original.
He came from beneath the sea.
What's it called?
Uh,
Aladdin? No,
and he act-
was it? No, it's Sinbad. Sorry, Sinbad.
The Seven
Yeah.
Voyages.
Well, I think he also did the Golden Voyages. I'd have to look it up to be sure. But
I
I'm
know the
pretty sure
style.
he did.
I'm
he did
very
the
familiar
Raquel,
with the style.
Yeah.
and he actually was the one that did the monsters in 1 million years BC, the Raquel Welch movie.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's
Yeah, he
true
did
there.
that one too. Well, we'll go over his filmography because there's actually quite a few that you go, oh, he did those monsters and or creatures.
Definitely.
Sounds good.
But
All right,
we'll cover
definitely.
him Friday.
Yes, we like to be and Casey as well to be a participant on those episodes that we have this week there. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And we'll try to get through a week without missing any of them.
All right. Without no interruptions or bullshit happening at the last dang minute as it happens when we do our shows or something. I get hit with something or Arky gets hit with something there. Yeah. So let's hope we get through with no issues coming in at the last minute, as I mentioned there.
Yeah. So I guess we've gone over everything we're going to go over today and more.
Yeah,
which was good.
I got a lot more than we expected, which is a good thing there, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah, it's fun. It's nice to talk to you, Dave.
Yeah,
yeah,
same here.
And Casey.
and Casey as well, and Joe Cronin as well, definitely, and also hopefully we could sometime get Farmouth Ken on this couple ahead in his um, additions to the subjects that we're talking about here, definitely.
Okay, guys, sound good.
Yeah, and okay.
Talk to you later.
And
Bye.
All right, you have a good one.
okay.
Devious Dave Rose, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
And now it's time for our please subscribe bag.
All right, yeah, we asked everybody out there to subscribe both Arknolia Stroke of Beans channel and my channel just as well. I know I end my videos and my vlogs with that, We try to get up there. And so far, have you any new subs on your channel there, Arky, there? Or is it still just 2 subs?
I'm kind of up to 3, I think.
Oh, nice.
I'm up to 3, actually.
All right, I think right now I have I gained a few. Let's see how much I have at this moment here. I have about 329 subscribers there at this moment. So I'm slowly getting up the ladder up there slowly. In my case, it's got to take its time because you remember I'm not a drama whore there, so I get by on usually on the content that I
Yeah.
have there. So it's going to take a while before I reach about, let alone 400 there. I guess you could say there. All
Oh, I'll be
right,
a while before I get there.
that's true. Yeah. So I guess that this concludes our Monday night episode of our recap or preview episode 6. I guess you could say there. I know I got a couple of things I want to do around the house here before I hit the hay.
Yeah. And maybe we'll be able to do something for both JB and Joe.
Yeah, I would love to do that, and of course, even though it's far out reach, it'd be have the nice to do something with Ken, JB, and Joe, but I doubt if that's going to actually happen, unfortunately. But it would be cool as well.
Yeah. And hopefully we can leave drama out of it because I just don't like
Absolutely. I know.
that stuff.
It would be nice. All right, so, okay, this will be conclude our episode for today. Once again, tomorrow night we will discuss our continuation with the British invasion. And I guess we'll be looking at some of the, as we mentioned a couple times, bands like Hermit's
Probably the
Hermits.
lesser known bands.
Yeah, like Chad and Jeremy, Peter and Gordon, as you mentioned there. And of course, we will definitely
The
do us.
Searchers, Steering and Pacemakers. Yeah.
Yes. And plus,
Like I said, I could produce a big list of those kind of bands.
I'm thinking possibly this Thursday or the fun next Tuesday, we'll look at the careers and the lifespans of both the Who and the Rolling Stones there.
Yeah, we'll just see how Tuesday goes, and if we have a lot of material and run out of time, well, we'll extend it to the next show.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how we usually do it on our episodes there. And like I said, like we both said in Mendling, this coming Wednesday we'll take a look at the iconic Twilight Zone series started by Ron
Right?
Sterling. And on this Friday, we'll take a look at the monsters and the creations of Ray Harryhausen. We'll definitely
And,
look into his career there.
and if anybody has any ideas for movies or TV shows, put them in the comments, and we'll
Yes.
take a look and see if that's one we can do.
Or message us or
Because
let
some
us
of
know
them,
in our Skype there.
right? And some of them, if we don't know anything about them, obviously we can't cover them. But if we do, we can look at them,
All right.
kind of talk about them a little bit.
Definitely. We welcome all suggestions, ideas there to help the series of programs that we have here. Okay.
Right.
So, once again, thank everybody for watching in. This has been recap and preview episode 6. We look forward to hearing you and seeing you, watching our programs for this week tomorrow. All right. For Arknolia and myself, everybody, you guys have a good one.
Alrighty.
All right.
And goodbye to everybody.
All right. Bye
Well,
bye.
I don't mean it that way, but bye.